Earlier you mentioned a life cast. You were
Yes.
talking about life cast and like molds and stuff. I'm curious, like, because I have no idea what. Could you tell me? Can you explain to me what that is?
All right, a life cast is you're looking for an impression. Say we're going to make an actor into a zombie.
Okay.
So you have to sculpt those appliances that you will then mold and float off and make into appliance pieces. And also it's specifically made for that actor. You need to life cast them so that there's a material. You get, a body double material, and you will literally cover them. You leave their nose holes open, and it is literally you are taking a perfect impression down to every pore. If they have a pimple that day, it shows up. Like if they have scar, an old scar, it is down to every pore in their face. It is an exact replica of that. So it's a material you would put on it, drips right over, and it's like gives that impression. And then you do your what we call a beauty coat or a drip layer. It's a very thin layer, and you get that on. Then you thicken each layer up to get a thick consistency, and then you would take a plaster bandage jacket. You would then enclose it in two halves. So this person, if you do a full head cast, they're completely enclosed, usually from chest up, and completely enclosed. So sometimes people are, if you have a claustrophobia, there's issues. I've had issues with that in the past, but very few. I've always had good life casts. Also, if you're doing it right, you have a couple people. You're always doing it, very rarely are you doing it by yourself. I've done it by myself. It can be done, usually not a full head. But as long as you have somebody on the nostrils, people will tell you, oh, they put straws in their nose. Like I've never, ever, ever, ever done that. I don't know anyone that's ever done that. But it's every actor says, oh, yeah, they stuck straws in my nose. Maybe it happened in the 40s. It never happened in anything that I've ever learned, unless some idiot does it on a YouTube video and then don't know what they're doing. But it is literally a perfect impression. It takes a while. Like it could take
hours?
Oh, the material itself sets up pretty quickly. Like so, you don't have as much time, but you have 20 minutes. Somebody's underneath there for a half hour, 40 minutes.
Wow.
Now, the more you need, you could do their whole body. You can do, I've done hands, we've done feet, we've done full body, and it's just literally putting this material on, it peels off. Like it's,
You don't have to cut it off. It literally just comes
well,
off.
you cut, if it's completely sealed, yes, you're cutting it off the back and peeling it, and they're popping off. It's not like, whoop, it pops right out. It's not like in the movies. It's not like they do it in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
That is, it's not how it is in theory how it happens, but it's not that quick. It's not in like a 30-second montage. It will take a while, and the more people you have, and the better the prep is, and the more you can get a perfect cast. And usually, like everything we do, we have to sculpt and mold. So that's the stuff that's very important, because that's going to get you a perfect, your positive piece, your final piece that you're going to use.
Yeah.
The more time you put into making a good mold, a good positive that you have to work off of, all that's going to help you make your pieces better.
Yeah.
And, depending whether you do a foam or a silicone, any material like that. But you always start with some type of cast, some type of life cast. And it's really just, it's literally the same thing that the doctor or the dentist would use for your teeth.
Yeah.
But on a much bigger scale.
Obviously, you need some experience to like mold it and stuff, but is it pretty easy to work with?
It's an A and B material. So you have A and B. When they make it even easier than that, they make one color like pink and one color blue. So when you mix it together, it turns purple. So your material's been mixed. The more you do it, you'll get used to like, I need 8 ounces of A, 8 ounces of B. It's usually a 1-to-1 ratio. They make it very simple. Before the other materials, like it'd be like, 6 cups per 12 cups of water. Like it was more like math.
Yeah.
This they make so simple now. It is like they have other ones that are more hair safe that's supposedly come out with, like I could do your face with a beard.
Yeah, I would never.
You would get a tug on there, but it would still come out of you. Like you would have an impression of your. I've done it plenty of times.
How does the positive come out of that then? Do you have to cover it up?
Then I have to cut out the beard.
Okay.
I would have to cut. Like I did a werewolf movie, Blackout, Larry Fezzik movie, and when the actor was cast, he had a beard, and he needed that beard for another show, and so I just then would have to when I made my cast of his face, when I made that positive, I then had to sand that all off to get as close to I could to what his face was.
That's something I like. I mean, this is so random, but like I've scuba dived before, and to get the like Vaseline, is that something like that helps that kind of thing?
You would Vaseline or there's products that you would use. They have a hyperfolic that you would mix in. What it is it pulls out of your hair. That doesn't mean, because we've done plenty of guys' chest hairs. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, "No, I don't want to shave my chest." And we're like, "I think you should shave your chest," because we're actually not taking any hair out. It's just that it gets all around, and then it's just pulling it through. So you don't lose hair. You just, and men are much more not used to that. So usually men are much more wussies when it comes to that stuff.
I say we just cut Bert's beard off. Let's just fucking do it.
I mean, the funny part is I have to, if I was to make a fake head, I would have to remove the beard. Yeah. And then I would have to painstakingly like punch all those hairs in as well. So it's like, oh my God. Like, and now every day, everybody has a goddamn beard or mustache. Oh, I gotta have for production. Just makes our job so much,
Have you ever damaged like a cast because you've had to like sand stuff down? And then
no, I mean, again, using this other material, the best part of that, the silicone life casting material that we have now, you can if you screwed up, you could pour another cast of it and get it. You try not to. I mean, sure, have I maybe taken off 1/8 of an inch? Sure.
Yeah.
But trial and error. Like I've screwed up more like when it was the old way with the alginate, just because, alginate would shrink after a while. So if you didn't fill it right away, it would slightly
less forgiving.
It would actually like get smaller.
Oh, okay.
So you don't want to wait very long. You got to do that pretty quickly, So it was, there's definitely aspects, I've screwed up everything. Like I've made mistakes on all of that stuff. Any material, I've mixed blood wrong. I've mixed, materials wrong. But, again, it happens once. And then you learn to adapt, and not make those mistakes again. Because usually when you start out, that's costing you money.
Right.
Yep.
Like you're like, oh God damn, I used all that material and I didn't get what I wanted. And I'm like, all right, I got to figure, so you don't make those mistakes more than a couple times.